RTD Live Talk, Detroit's #1 late night YouTube talk show. We are live for a Monday night edition. Looking forward to connecting and finding out what's on your radar. Lots of things to touch on this evening. Looking forward to connecting as well as if you have any new viewers in the community, definitely let me know where you're watching from via the chat. And then when the phone lines open up, 313-462-0027 is the number to call and let your voice be heard. All righty. So, what an interesting way to kick off the week. Oh, man, the unraveling continues. And outside of the narrative of a recovery today in the markets, the question is how much more or how much currency can the Plunge protection team, the monetary arm of the government, set up to prop up and to keep up the markets in times of turmoil? How much are they willing to throw at the problem? We'll find out. But yet, once again, it can't save the world. And I want to just paint a little bit of a picture as to how much would be needed to keep things afloat while we wait patiently for some other event to unfold as an excuse to dial back on the tapering talk and continue on with what they only can do, which is to create funny currency to prop this thing up. But we're going to dive into that. So anyway, welcome to the live stream. My name is Mike, the host. Looking forward to connecting. Let me know where you're watching from. We'd love to acknowledge your presence. And we'll, move along. I got about 5 or 6 different articles, different subjects to share my 2 cents on and try to make sense of everything that's happening. So we have Nieces for Jesus checking in. Appreciate you. It says 2 things. Doesn't UAE have power to cut dollar as world reserve? And what will hyperinflation do to real estate? I want to trade my metal for a rural community. Nieces for Jesus. Great question there. So off rip, UAE have power to cut dollar as world reserve. I am not familiar with anything United Arab Emirates ability to cut the world reserve currency. I know that the petrodollar system has been predominantly upheld by the oil from the OPEC nations, i.e. led by Saudi Arabia. So other than the petrodollar system continue to be the mechanism, which that's already been done away with for the most part. Not quite sure what the UAE will have to do with the world reserve status for the dollar. As far as hyperinflation is concerned, based upon other scenarios where the currency fails the people, everything denominated in that currency goes through a revaluation period, and the economic conditions tend to favor those that actually have purchasing power to acquire assets in real world time. And so all the valuations denominated in our currency will tend to trend downward, i.e. market corrections. Similar to what, equity markets does initially when there's a dip, real estate markets tend to crash. And then as a response to all that, if more funny currency is created, then that currency will make its way back into assets like that to where we can see extreme price valuations of everything real. But then again, it's a reflection of a bad currency. So it's a matter of what will you be holding to be able to purchase those things. And if you're holding fiat, you'll never be able to hold enough fiat digital units to acquire anything real, just because the valuations of things will never line up. But yet if you're holding monetary sponges, things that can absorb a lot of that liquidity, you can then wring out some of that currency purchasing power into real assets at a much more favorable way. So if that makes any sense to you. But once again, if we reach a situation like that where there's complete chaos and pandemonium, not quite sure how the buying and purchasing of those things will play out in market conditions. So we'll find out, if for whatever that's worth. All right, a long-winded answer there. Hope that was of some use. We got Jason checking in. We got Miles. We got Ed checking in. Let me see. I see a lot more thoughts, a lot of more interesting topics out here. What else we got here? A lot of back and forth. LBP checking in. We got Yale. Rubio checking in. How you doing, my friend? We got DC Precise, Mr. Steve. Timo checking in. Faith Parent. Okay. Spare a dime. All right. Fair amount of people here, man. Appreciate you. TB checking in. Daryl checking in. Share your 2 cents. Whatever stories you guys want to touch on, throw it out there in the chat, and we'll definitely jump on it. Simon says, submit yourself to God, resist the devil, he will flee from you. James 4:7. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we know what's really happening, the essence of everything. All right, I see XRP was this. XRP question says, will they stop mandates and let the true collapse start this March? Whew, nobody knows for sure, other than things are unfolding right now, unraveling relatively fast. As far as stopping the mandates, I think there will be continuous pushback against the mandates. I even heard and saw an interesting story. I think it took place out in a school district. I think out on the West Coast, where some parents got a hold of some information that played out very well in their favor. And it had to do with the surety bonds that every single state employee has upon them as employees of the state. And it was some information that I think was very telling. We'll see how that plays out. But ultimately, none of the stuff that they've thrown at us is legal. So it's finding the ways to challenge all that in a lawful way that will force them to have to address the what does that say, the address those issues that they've thrown at us in a more legal fashion. So we'll see. All right, but let me dive in, get a couple things off my chest real quick. Jane said, RTD family, stock up on all your goods, food, med, supplies to the rafters. It's imperative, 100%. Okay, so let me just touch on a couple things here. And also for those that had a chance to check out the RTD Q&A earlier with Nobody Special Finance, let me know your thoughts on that. It was great to connect with them and hear his thoughts and analysis on where we're at. And it's great to take a variety of ideas from an assortment of people, and it helps me as well as hopefully you guys as well formulate better ideas as to how to try to paint a picture for what's going on. Like, because as the more things unfold, I just have a yearning desire to have discernment and wisdom and how to navigate this, not only for myself, but also how to share information that could be helpful to other people. So that's why I think it's imperative to, take a school of thoughts and see what best works for you and to put it together so that it can hopefully help position you in a better position than the most. But that's definitely a great chat there. Let me see here. Tony B says state teachers don't have to vax, but kids over 12 is mandatory. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of the health, fraudulent health activity outside of stuff being talked about on the other alternative media channels, I tend not to really dive deep into it just because I know that a lot of those are buzzwords that will definitely cause issues with me being able to connect with you guys. So I try to keep it to the monetary side of things, which is what this channel is pretty much based upon. But there's no way we cannot go around not touching those other things. But I'll do the best I can to share my 2 cents on it. Of course, that's why I encourage everybody, check in with the Discord. People share articles and, people talk just all throughout the day there. And of course, on Telegram. Bible study King James 16:11 says, if cryptocurrency is considered property to the taxes concept, question is, do we really own our crypto? Okay. Well, in worded the way that you put it there, then my answer will be no, because ultimately speaking, what do we really own? What do we really own? We get to use, we have access to, but do we really own anything, given the fact that from the time we were born to the time we die, other than having rights to things while we're alive, do you really own anything? And that's where I think at the end of the day, we're going to find out what we really do own. And it's very, just based on, just be upfront, it's real gangster that, Klaus Schwab and his cohorts of people are telling people they won't own nothing. They're going to be happy with it. They got a lot of balls on them for saying stuff like that, but we will find out. And I think based upon the upcoming executive order that's going to be thrown our way in February from the White House or from some region near the White House, if anybody really in that really in that building, which I doubt there is, but there's going to be a change up as well to that. So we'll get to that. Okay, let me jump on a couple articles, and then can dive further into all types of other subject matter. But I was just looking at the immediate bounce back. Let me pop up some headlines here. It says stocks mount stunning, supernatural a comeback on Monday with Dow closing in the green after early 1,000 point loss. And so how could we not talk about that? It's just not by coincidence. I don't think anybody in this community was out there buying that particular dip. and all those tech stocks and things like that. That's not really too favorable at this current time. And so it's just interesting how these headlines paint a favorable picture. A lot of the economists, mainstream news sources talking about this is a great buying opportunity. You might want to take advantage of it. Yada, yada. This is the bottom. Yada, yada. All that good stuff. Just pumping hot air. But yet, once again, afternoon, heading in towards the close of one, we saw a rally that was very uh, beneficial to keep the narrative going that we're recovering, everything is fine, don't worry about it. Okay, cool. And so here's another little headline I want to touch on. S&P stages turnaround to snap a losing streak as dip buying returns. So people, I guess, out here buying the dip. Right. I don't think I bought any. Did you? Probably not. But who did step in? And I saw this and I had to share it. But Plunge Protection Team, hashtag, it says, it looks like the Plunge Protection Team went to work around lunchtime today. And so, of course, we see a continuous trend downward, a massive sell-off. Basically, people having to get rid of a lot of stuff due to all the other margin calls, option call, all that stuff that they've piled onto the system. People are forced to sell, but yet somebody came in and bought it up. The Plunge Protection Team is usually the suspect that comes in and buys up things at times where there's no other available liquidity around to really pump things up. And so the question I wanted to put out there is that, can the Plunge Protection Team or the trading desk at the basement of the Federal Reserve, whoever we want to call it, some mysterious buyer down in the Cayman Islands that has direct access to the federal funds computer screen, who knows? Can they continue to do this all week long? Because there's going to be continuous downward pressure on all these fictitiously propped up, manipulated markets for the foreseeable future until something occurs, whatever that something might be. Will they be able to stage this all throughout the week? And then we'll find out what Jerome Powell has to say this upcoming Wednesday when he either comes out in favor of trying to hike some things or whether he'll dial back on that talk as well. We'll see. But yet, time will tell. And once again, all the NASDAQ, S&P 500, Dow, those are the three primary indices in the U.S. that's used to, I guess, give that illusion of wealth for portfolios, for investors. But yet, I want to just pinpoint something that's even bigger and badder. The Wilshire 5,000 total market cap. So these every single publicly traded company in this country is traded right here. I think it's 3,400 different companies publicly traded, all types, big cap, blue chip, you name it, all right here. And over the last 5 days, we can see just what has happened there. And this is a better summary of the true state of the equities. And so as of Friday last week, it was around 46,000. And then as of today, before the Plunge Protection Team or whoever came in to save the day, it was down a total of approximately maybe close to 10% within the last 48, 72 hours of trading, give or take. So that's a lot, but yet it rallied as well, along with everything else. So this is a reflection of what the true rally was throughout the day. And so how much more can they throw at this before something gives? And just to show you how big and how massive the entire dollar-denominated global market really is, I wanted to show you something real quick that I thought was important. Now I'll get to a couple more articles. Then I open the phone lines. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts. But here's a visual aid that I pulled up from about 2 years ago. Since then, there's been a few trillion added on top of it, just to show you the scale as to what needs to be supported in order to keep this illusion of a stable economy moving forward. So here says all of the world's money and markets in one visualization. And so I'm going to scroll all the way. Okay, well, I'm going to just walk you guys through because I'm sure everybody's seen this, but just as a fresh reminder, if you look at all the markets, the very first one, the smallest out of all, is silver. It says the value of above ground silver stocks is 43.9 billion. And this, of course, is older, but it's still the smallest. Cryptocurrency, military spending, U.S. budget deficit, which have gone up since then. Total coins and banknotes in circulation, we got the dollar, euro. So a total about 6.6 trillion. Add another trillion or two on top of that. That's how small that is as far as, demand, cash ready to go. Fed's balance sheet, is at 7 trillion. add another, almost two, give or take to that. We got the amount of billionaires since this visual aid was created. It's pretty much doubled. So there was about 2,000 at that time. Since the great financial crisis, or since the March 2020 crisis, there has been more added to that list. Gold is relatively the same, about 10 trillion is what we're told. Fortune 500, all these companies here have definitely doubled. We got Microsoft. I'm sorry, Apple was at 1.3 trillion. Now it's closer to 3 trillion. So all these valuations on these Fortune 5 companies, Fortune 500 companies have gone up in correlation with the amount of currency created. Total stock market, 89 or 90 trillion, probably going up a little bit. We got the money supply total, 95.7. This is global. Global debt is more than 300 trillion as of right now. So these are all, dollar denominated things that needs to be propped up just in case. And of course, the biggest one, global real estate isn't big, 280 trillion real estate. Okay, that's a big issue. Global wealth, we go down to the very bottom. This is the nitty gritty, the derivatives market. And so this today, when I thought about what's all this fighting ultimately going to boil down to, is can they prop up the conventional, traditional financial markets that everybody's participating in? The Plunge protection team can come in before the days close and bid things up. Okay, but yet the derivatives market, which is it's the biggest monster that the world faces, because the true value of it is unknown. So here is just more information about that, but it's so confusing and it's so big. And as of right here, it's 1 quadrillion. And of course, it's grown since then because nobody knows what's inside of all this stuff. This is the side bets and inner bankers. We got swaps, we got warrants, we got options, forward contracts, future contracts, you name it. This is the big monster that will need to be propped up. And the reason I bring all that up with this little rant is that this visual aid right here, Extra's Pyramid, shows you all of the financial products that's been spun out and the level of risk from the most riskiest down to the most secure. And up here is that 1 point something trillion, probably closer to 2 trillion on downward. So no matter what we face this year moving forward, whatever the Fed does, they have to prop up this, because this will crumble on this and then down here. So it comes all the way down to what's at the very bottom, which is the least riskiest. So having a probably $1 to $2 trillion derivatives market, the Plunge protection team wouldn't be able to come in and save that. And before they let that thing go completely crashing down, there's going to be some type of event, some type of reset, some type of it's going to be hard to hide all that moving forward. So that's a long-winded rant, but just to show you how massive the problems are. It goes all the way up to the quadrillions, which ultimately speaking, in order to solve a 1 to 2 quadrillion problem, 1 to 2 trillion quadrillion dollar problem, you obviously need 1 to 2 trillion, 1 to 2 quadrillion dollars of new currency just to attempt to make due on prior debts owed and all that confusion happening right now. So add another trillion or two can be problematic. Adding another 100 trillion can be extremely problematic, but a quadrillion, it's not happening. So I say all that to basically let you know the markets will continue to fluctuate. They'll never be able to create enough currency to be able to even keep this narrative going. So something has to give. And you better believe it has a lot to do with all the issues happening right now in the Middle East and Russia, you name it. So anyway, keep it going real quick. Let me get to a couple more stories and I'll open the phone lines. But these are some things that caught my attention. I had to definitely shine some light on it. But here is a story. Let me grab this right here. Where is it at? I got to find this. I think this is going to be interesting because this is going to play into that other new asset class, the crypto market, decentralized nature, whatever it's called, which is only as of right now, I think it's like a 1.9 trillion and declining market. But the world is being led to believe that it's going to be the savior of humanity. We will find out. But this is definitely going to be a problem. It says the White House is set to release an executive order on cryptocurrencies as early as February. So what does this mean? Within the next week, possibly beginning of February, we could see some type of executive order, some type of announcement amongst all the financial regulators trying to further clamp down on the exiting of currency out of the system into the crypto space, which is being viewed as an escape away from a dying fiat world. So what do governments do? They step in and try to tame that down, keep people as well as capital in this system so that there'll be no winners in this global restructuring here. So what does this mean here? Basically, there's no real details in this, but my suspicion would be they're going to crack down heavily on exchanges, making it hard to on-ramp as well as off-ramp with cryptos back into fiat. And then they're going to impose more KYC, AML, as well as probably one or two new things that we haven't heard with the registration of wallets from all the exchanges. They want to have, you submit information of your wallet address and all types of other things that will come about. And this will be very problematic for the market. So right now, if cryptos is experiencing a little bit of a downward trend, it's going to continue, in my opinion. And so everything will trend downwards from a financial standpoint with the help of the equity markets from the Plunge protection team until there's a fresh injection of stimulus. Like the markets is screaming, stimulate me. Like they need stimulus. The Build Back Better bill might have been a little bit of a boost, but it didn't get passed. So as of right now, the markets is screaming more funny money. Give it to me or else. And so there will not be any new injections until the Federal Reserve has a blunder or some kind, and then they're going to backtrack. It's quite obvious. Or there'll be something else happening in the form of an event. Keep it moving right along. Let me get to a couple of other subjects here. I touched on this early with Jack, but it says Bank of America says U.S. CBDC would preserve dollar status as world reserve currency. Hogwash, that's a bunch of trash. The world has already moved on from anything to do with the Federal Reserve and the United States government. So they can't really fool anybody with that. But it's a selling ploy for the monetarily uninformed to think that CBDC is going to be a continuation of what we already have. There won't be any glitch in the system. US will still be the number one dominating currency, all that. So that's what they're trying to use this as. Don't fall for it. We know the world is already ran from the dollar. And then here's another article here. It says a fully digital US dollar would be a better online currency than crypto. The new Fed report suggests. Oh, really? The same people who've basically destroyed their own liability to the world, i.e. the Federal Reserve note, was now telling us that the CBDC is going to be just as good, if not better than cryptos. Okay. Well, we know they got to sell us something. So, okay, it is what it is. All right, a couple articles here. And here's something else that I think people should also consider. And so multiple YouTube accounts are being hacked to shield cryptocurrency. So basically, I want to say close to a dozen, if not more, because all of the large cryptocurrency channels we have, I think BitBoy Crypto, Ivan on Tech, Coin Bureau, let me see, some overseas YouTube channels, all pretty large cryptocurrency channels were hacked. And whoever was behind this was able to pull this off simultaneously within the same 24, 48-hour period, posting, spam type videos, and actually people believing that those videos were a part of those individual content creators. So the hackers were able to actually receive currency to their wallets. So that a lot of people have been out here getting stimulated via cryptocurrency with these fraudulent accounts. But here's the question. How is it that all of these different YouTube channels, different passwords, two-factor authentication, you name it, password managers probably they're using password managers, which provides even longer passwords that are stronger than ever, managed to get hacked. So either it was an inside job from Google, aka Alphabet, or there's some technology out there that is prime and ripe to disrupt this alleged decentralized, unhackable technology that has been thrown at us as being completely uncensorable, untrackable, untraceable, i.e. the blockchain space, that type of technology. And so my suspicion would go towards wasn't just an inside job. This could be a demonstration of the technological advancements in AI algorithms, who knows, quantum computing, who knows, we're going to find out. But if it's easy to hack these YouTube channels multiple ways, then it's good to say that it's probable that it wouldn't be too hard to find out the private keys to decentralized projects, blockchains, wallets, you name it. And so my motto is you live by the code, you probably will lose it all according to the computer code. That's just my suspicion. I hope I'm wrong, but we're gonna find out, unfortunately. So yeah, putting your trust in computer code. I'm not a coder, so I don't trust the code. I know that it's created by man. It can be easily manipulated as well as backdoored by man. So yeah, but anyway, that's what's going on. But anyway, enough of me ranting. Let's talk. Lots of things happening. I'm curious to see what you guys have been keeping an eye on. Give me a call, 313-462-0027, and let your voice be heard. We can talk about a variety of things. Also, let me see, I can rant forever. Let me share something with you that I think you might want to take a listen to. I put it up on the Telegram page. But today, David Morgan and his confessions of a cryptocurrency or whatever he does with his channel put out a great interview of just some things that make you think. And let me grab it real quick because it's worth a listen, because I err on the side of caution, being more of a skeptic rather than a promoter of something that goes beyond my level of understanding in its entirety. But let me put this on here real quick. Let's see. Let me see. Let me find it. It's okay. So here it goes. So I'll put this on the screen. I would recommend you guys take a listen. I tend to listen to all these interviews on, hyper speed just so I can get through it faster. But here's an interesting interview here. The Crypto Conspiracy Podcast, episode 16. It says, is there a secret backdoor to the blockchain? So Boyd Anderson here basically sum it up, said that he was shown a 20-page paper 14 years ago before Bitcoin came about. And the people who were responsible for it, he threw out some names and some places, basically said that it was built with a backdoor in it. I don't know. I'm not a computer coder, but but my motto, if it's computer code, then obviously it's something that's it can be what's called, can be tampered with some kind. But anyway, so just something worthwhile. And then he also talks about the goal of those that's trying to orchestrate this entire experience. It's this entire experience. Their goal, or they will be looking to get gold down to $700 at some time this year, next year, or something like that. And so if this is true, or we'll find out, $700 gold probably means what, maybe $7, $8, $9 silver. Spot price, of course, paper stuff, futures and manipulation, stuff like that. So who knows? But a lot of interesting little nuggets thrown out to us about what could be. But it'd be worth your time if you have a minute. And once again, time will tell if he's true or if he's out here just shilling his book. So who knows? All right, let's keep it moving. Celtic Knot says Japanese quantum computing hacks the blockchains. Once again, I believe that the whole push towards going digital is more of a trap than it is a blessing. That's just my personal opinion. Because once again, I just trust the code all you want, man. I trust the chemical composition of these things right here. The atoms and protons and electrons. Yeah, it's hard to manipulate. It's not impossible, because man will try to be God. They're going to try to come up with ways to do it. But yet it's very hard at this point. So I'll stick with what I know and dib and dabble with what could possibly be. All right, let's talk transhumanism. I see talk out there about that. So anyway, throw out a thought, subject matter, we can touch on it. Witcher Work says, if that was the case, SHA-256 wouldn't be used anymore. They got hit with a backdoor or inside hack. Yeah, and at this current moment, nobody knows what really played out, but we do know the result of multiple accounts being hacked at the same time. So obviously, I would assume I would point this back towards a single source, because these just weren't random events of people getting hacked. So I would say they thought, the people who run those YouTube accounts thought that they were secure because their passwords were something that nobody could figure out. And then they had the two-factor authentication connected to their SIM cards and things like that. So it could be a multiple reasons of things, but I'd imagine, once again, majority of us were playing in the technological realm where not many of us really have any true understanding. Even if we are some most sophisticated developers and, you know, scientific engineers, this stuff we're playing with now can be very dangerous because we, meaning majority of people working right here, watching right now, close to 200 people, majority of us, probably 99% of us, can't read code, can't write code, or deploy the code. That's just the average person. The average lay person can't do it. So we bought into this blind faith based upon narrative sold to us by a very small few saying, trust the code. It's immutable. It's unbreakable. I can read it. I can see it. Yeah. Okay. But I hope I'm wrong. Believe it. I'm just that guy that's open and honest enough to be a skeptic rather than a, jump on a horse and ride it out saying that it's going to disrupt the world. It's the best thing since. No, I can't do it. And speaking of which, next Monday I'm having I'm gonna do RTD Q&A with what's his name? Kurt. Let me get his name real quick. Let me see here. So this might be something up your guys' alley to make sure you guys tune into because it will be a great discussion because I'm going to throw all of my confessions of a crypto skeptic approach towards them. But let me put it on the screen right here. So next Monday, I'm going to have Kurt Wookert Jr., he's a BSV historian. He's been around from day one. He knows what he's talking about. Dave Morgan and John Perez interviewed him a couple weeks ago, so I'm gonna have him on, and I'm gonna just throw all the questions I can, trying to get to the bottom of the crypto maximalist approach that everybody seems to have, thinking that cryptocurrency is going to be the savior of humanity. All right, so let me get to some calls. Forgive me. Let me open up my app. I apologize for that. All right, so I have the missing calls. Forgive me. I will get to you. All right, so phone lines are open. Give me a call. Let's talk. Let me see here. D-Dice says, what about Tony B? What's going on with Tony B? Let me get this. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hey, Ed. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing good, my friend. What's on your mind tonight?
I like the guy that was on today. He said a couple of things that really stuck in my mind. He said that the big wigs have voted on, they're going to take the market down because they sold a lot of their stock, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing he said was, about the crypto, he said, we're going to beg them to give it to us. If they make the pain bad enough, we'll beg them, to give us some, government crypto so we can go eat and,
Right.
buy some gasoline, heat the house, and that kind of thing. Right. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. But I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Let's put a number on somebody's finances. Doesn't matter if it's 300,000 or 3 million. If you were, say, a third in real estate, a third in gold and silver,
mm-hmm.
a third in cash, would you feel good about that, or would you want to unload the cash and get more into gold and silver?
My personal opinion, based upon the way you broke that down, that cash pile there will serve a purpose. And so I think, even talking with Jack about there being a correction of all corrections that will be the driver to the next trillions that will be provided into the system. Whether it's 20%, 30%, there's going to be a major market sell-off where pretty much everything will be on sale. So my opinion is you might regret not having enough cash on hand for the fire sale, and then things will rally. And it's not until we reach that time where the Fed completely lose control, the amount of currency being created becomes completely unsustainable. It hits the main street, it's on Wall Street, it floods the planet. Then at that point, you might not want to have much cash because it's going to be a race to get rid of it. But I think we would have some time before that. So I would probably say if you got Warren Buffett sitting on, I think, 200 billion or something crazy in cash, then they are obviously expecting to deploy that into something. And I think there will be no, there will be no amount you wish you didn't have when stuff go on sale, because you probably don't want more. So that's just my opinion. But then how things play off in the future, it's not until the very end, whenever that comes about, that people are not going to want physical paper in their possession or digits.
Okay, great. Thanks for the answer, Mike. And I really appreciate the guests when you get them on there. That was real interesting today.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for the question. Once again, it's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but yeah, I mean, if billionaires is getting heavy on cash, they plan on buying something. If I had billions, I'd be sitting on there waiting on to buy something too. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Yep. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Mike, it's Bar Light Broker from the internet.
Bar Light Broker. What's going on with you, my friend?
Oh, nothing much, Mike. 2 weeks, buddy.
What's
It'll just be like a little vacation, and then it'll be over with.
Oh, so in
104. Mike,
what's going on in 2 weeks? What's going on in 2 weeks?
Oh, just wear your little mask for 2 weeks, and this will be gone, and just don't say anything, and everything will be fine.
You talk about the 15 days to slow the curve?
We're only going in 104 weeks, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to flatten that curve, you know. You know that's a dig at people that are flat earthers. I think I might have already told you that. But no, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is all just mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a food shortage from Fukushima in Japan, killing seafood in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Asia doesn't want to import any shellfish from that ocean or anything like that. It's like squeezing the world's food supply. And in China, they had all that drought, and it basically killed a bunch of their grain. So they just get it all from us, and
sit on it.
Yep. We have to give it to them. We owe them money.
Right. Right.
There's no negotiations here. It was just like when Obama cut $80 off the food stamps. The same thing was happening then, and it was just like when Trump ended all business lunches or small business. Same thing happened then. It's always been a pressure on food since 2011. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
But that's my theory. Hey. It's just a theory,
right? But I mean, at this current moment, you know, like you would have been lumped in as a conspiracy theorist, but yeah, as of now, it's conspiracy fact. So, you know, everything that you're saying definitely it fits in somewhere in this equation because you make more sense than what they say on the mainstream news. So I believe you any day, man.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, Mike. You know, I like to call in and say what I really think and what I really see. And I'm not watching mainstream media, but I do ingest a lot of news into me. But just kind of wanted to call and remind everybody from 2 weeks to 104 weeks, and they still don't know what's going on. Now now what are we on? The 86th wave? I mean,
yeah, there's different waves popping up in different parts of the country, and Fauci's out, I think, over the weekend talking about the possibility of a fourth one of those things. So if people buy into it still, I don't feel sorry for them, man. That's just
the way they've squeezed all these food supplies together, you know, they can just go in and sprinkle some fairy dust anywhere they want, and be like, "Oh, look, it's COVID. See, people finally died."
Yeah.
And what are people going to say? They think people have been just like dying in mass the whole time.
Right.
It was like when they were saying, all the hospitals are full. You can't even get a bed. And I know people that were laid off from hospitals because there was no one there.
Right.
Hey. No one was getting hurt anymore. They weren't getting surgeries. They weren't getting hurt. No one was moving.
Yeah.
They were petrified.
But hey,
but then
I appreciate you, man.
News and they're like,
hey, thanks for calling in, man. Let me get a couple more calls in, but it's good to hear your voice as always, man.
Hey, you too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Calories, man. Calories. Think about this. Moving forward with all this stuff going on, more pictures of empty shelves, you know, food and water. Securing food and water moving forward with you got Bill Gates buying up everything and farm, you know, as Jack mentioned earlier, fertilizer costs going through the roof. Therefore, it's going to be a shortage of crops this summer, next summer, you name it. So it's going to be a mad dash to secure your ability to feed yourself as well as clean, fresh water. We know where this is heading. Hello, Carlos. Where are we calling from?
Corman, California.
Hi there, my friend. What's going on with you?
I wanted to just talk about the whole crypto thing.
Okay, give me some thoughts.
People always forget that Satoshi has like 1 million Bitcoin.
Okay.
The creator of Bitcoin has 1 million Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't sound like a rug pull, I don't know what does. You know? He's what, the 15th richest man in the world, apparently, or organization, or whatever he is.
Yeah, that wallet address is the 15th. You say?
They've like estimated like his net worth to be like, I think roughly around 15th richest in the world, and he hasn't moved one of those Bitcoin. Just that alone is just kind of sketchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that would definitely be something that would weigh on the back of my mind, probably the front of my mind too, and my concerns with the future and longevity of this, of that particular chain itself. Yeah, that would definitely be of concern to me. But it's amazing how you got everybody named Other, including mainstream news, they just discount that as if like it doesn't matter because he's already saved us. We're good.
Just brush it off.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, that's nothing. It doesn't matter, right?
There'll only be 21. There'll only be 21 million ever, and all that, and da. Okay, yeah, sure.
So that's disputable. So the miners can actually get consensus, and if they have consensus, then they can vote on distributing more Bitcoin. They can actually do it. So like when you get into the mining pools and conjoined computing power towards it, all directed in on one node, you get more voting power. So if you could get the votes to do it, you can increase the supply.
Yeah.
And also privacy. Privacy, you're not private if you're not using a Tor. And I don't even know if you're that private after that.
That's the thing. Like if you're using anything that has a hard drive as well as all the software and the microchips that come from China and all that other stuff. I mean, are we really?
Yes, Wi-Fi, everything, 5G, everything. It's all in.
Right. But hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Let me get some more calls in. But thanks for calling in, though.
No problem. You have a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, man. So once again, those are just questions that people should continue to to try to view those, get those points out because those are answers, things that need to be answered. Jane says, anyone hear about the truck that lost some lab monkeys and how the CDC is looking for them, and if any people have any cold light symptoms in the area where all this happened? I did see the truck but here's an article here saying that. Let me show this article right quick. So it says all 100 lab monkeys have been accounted for after several escaped a truck crash. So once again, monkeys 100, and it just seems like that could be an ideal event. That those are probably experiment monkeys where they're probably contaminated with some things. It's just the whole lab monkey just crashing. It's just how convenient monkeys just happen to crash. And so whether they got loose or not, they're gonna say that one of the the health workers that found one of them is sick with something. Then it's a whole new release of something else. This is how crazy stuff is. Where you see stuff like this, I automatically assume what will this lead to next? Isn't that crazy? So am I completely so far gone where I look at a headline, I automatically assume that it's a setup of some kind? Or am I not alone? Let me know. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Mike, you will eat nothing and be happy.
LBP, what's going on, man?
I heard Barney Broker talk about the food. They're gonna eat nothing and be happy, Mike. You know what they want us to eat, right?
I'm not sure how you're gonna be happy on an empty stomach, but I get your point.
Hey, look, I got a little bit of a twist on this food shortage thing.
Give it to me.
Look, in my town, the food hasn't really shorted. It's like just a few items here and there are thinning, I think here it's just too expensive and people don't have the money anymore, Mike. But you go to grocery store, get 2 bags of groceries over $100, Mike.
Right. So ultimately, the amount of items that you can no longer put in your grocery cart is due to the fact that people don't have the disposable cash, as well as some of the items, like we talked about this before, some of the items they would have probably gotten in the past, either not on the shelves or the price tag is a little bit more expensive, so they go to the alternative.
Well, I think that's it, Mike. I'm not telling nobody not to prep or prepare, hell no, you got to do that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's too expensive. That's why there's in my town, I don't know about other towns, but there's no food shortages because it's just too damn expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just pray that your shelves continue to be restocked moving into the rest of the winter and spring, And yeah, that's the case. But I imagine there's different pockets throughout the country where they're the ones having issues, and those are the stories we're hearing about more than the others. So I'm assuming at this current moment, it's not nationwide. It's just probably certain pockets. But then we're seeing, you know, how this current administration is blocking trucks from Mexico unless you participate, and trucks from Canada unless you participate. So they're continuously cutting stuff off as a part of this whole health regulation stuff, which is only going to compound the problem even more. So, but it's to be expected, man.
I think only like big cities, like with high incomes, like DC, a metro area, is one of the highest incomes per person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they got plenty of money still, you know, their bank accounts are still loaded with money, so they can buy as much as they want.
Yeah.
But like smaller cities, I don't know. I think people are tapped out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And so that plays into the idea of more distress, more pain amongst the populace, so that it makes it easier for people to be sold CBDCs, because that'll be the next, at some point in the near future, that's going to be the next line of direct access to the people to stimulate them with some type of monthly, you know, UBI with the stipulations, of course. So we see that's in the probably not too distant future after the next correction of some kind. So, but the question is, man, I just think between now and the end of March, there's going to be some type of event, man. Like I can't get around the fact that they're planning something, whether it's a conflict or a cyber attack or a outright market correction, or there's something happening that will postpone some things. Because I don't think the Fed gonna really get to even a single hike, in my opinion, man. That's just me. Yeah, man.
But even if they do the hike, Mike, a 0.25% is nothing.
It does.
It's not going to do anything.
It does absolutely nothing. They're gonna have to do a lot more than just 3 or 4 hikes to get to what 1%, 2% Fed funds rate. They're still below. They're still behind, well behind. So, but hey, man, let me get a couple more calls. I appreciate you as always, man.
All right, Mike. Have a great night.
Be good. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. How's it going, man?
Doing well. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, man. It's Kale. Called a while back, but anyways, I'm from Canada.
Okay.
I missed most of the show. I just caught the last 10 minutes, but I heard you guys were kind of talking about food shortages and stuff.
Yeah. What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Yeah. So Canada, BC, we're having like roving like grocery stores. My town's got like maybe 8 or 9, 10 grocery stores. And we're running like, odd grocery stores will run out of most of the produce. It's kind of weird. So they'll run out of like produce. One store will be out and everything will go on Facebook and stuff. And so it's kind of weird up here. And then we also got the trucker thing going up in Canada. Like supposedly it's pretty big. I haven't really heard much about it, but some videos are showing like hundreds of trucks are going down. There's some big strike in Ontario or something. And even one of my neighbors who's a nurse, so a girl that lives across the street from me, like she's anti, just like, any truther, but she even drove, her parents live in Ontario, so she's like joined the convoy in her car and stuff. So yeah, it's interesting.
Interesting, man. So I put on the screen here a little video from, it looks like last night. It says 50,000 Canadian truckers formed a caravan in protest against the mandates and the COVID tyranny. So looks like there's definitely, some activity happening up in your country, man. So man, more power to those guys, man. Stand their grounds, man. Protesting. That's how you get stuff done.
Oh man, I hope, man. But we'll see how it goes, man. I'm still everything's still crazy, and I don't know, man. I've been prepping for like 6 years. Sometimes it gets weighs on your soul where it's like, fuck, man, when is this gonna happen? And then it's like it's like such a slow frog boil, right? That you're like, man, this is probably gonna be another like 8 years, like before people wake up, like the masses wake up.
But hey,
so
keep us posted, and definitely, man, good luck with everything out there, and God bless you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, man.
Be good.
Love the stuff.
Appreciate you.
Peace.
Hello, caller. Where are we calling from? Hello.
Okay, man. Hello.
Hi there. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is James.
I'm from San Antonio, Texas.
James from Texas. What's going on with you, my friend? What's in your mind tonight?
Hey, what's on my mind is I just wanted to say here in Texas, we're probably not having food shortages just because of the fact that we produce a lot of food here. Mm-hmm. Okay, we grow stuff and we have the animals. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, it looks like our stores are overstocked with meats and stuff like that. Mm. Probably because they can't ship them out beyond the state. Yeah. I don't know. Also, I wanted to touch on what everybody had, what I consider nominal confusion about inflation. Mm-hmm. Okay, they think inflation goes up and down, but it does not. Mm-hmm. It's an accumulative effect. Yeah. In other words, if it was 3% one time, 10% the next time, and 15%, you add all of that together, it never goes down. Right. It only accumulates.
Compounded inflation. Yeah, compound inflation is the the ninth wonder of the world. Yeah. Oh man. Good point, man. Way to bring that up. So yeah, definitely keep us posted, man, on what's happening in your neck of the woods. It's good to hear from different people throughout the world, man, because we can better understand what's happening to gauge the severity of what we're being told. So appreciate you for checking in with us, man.
All righty.
Be good.
Have a good night.
Yep, you too. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. Pay me money bags, Killeen, Texas.
Pay me money bags. Texas back to back. What's going on, man?
Well, I'm over here. Y'all got me scratching my head.
Go ahead.
I'm about to throw a bottle at this computer.
What's going on, man?
Let me. I want to start with a couple things first. Try to make this brief.
Okay.
If anybody out there think that Satoshi Nakamoto is one person, you just need to find Elon Musk right now. Tell him to build you a ship and fly you off to another planet. Now, let's start with Saddam Hussein. Mm-hmm. The United States government went to a third world country in the middle of the night and found this man in a hole with $100,000. And then you mean to tell me a digital currency that circulates not only in the United States, but across the world, and you think they don't know who it is? On top of that, you think they're going to give that much power to one person when it comes to a currency? Think about what I'm telling you. There's no way. This is who controls Bitcoin. It is a group of people who designed it together. Once they designed Bitcoin, they moved on as a group to another project. They let Bitcoin run on autopilot to gain knowledge on how to produce all the others to trick you into a hole. That's what it's about. And then once they figure out all the kinks, they gonna switch everything. Bitcoin gonna do whatever it's doing. We still gonna be in another trap, a snare.
Yeah, I can agree with that with no problem. No need to throw that. No need to throw nothing at the TV or the computer.
Yeah. Hey, and one more thing I'm gonna touch on. When it comes to the food stuff, I want everybody to understand this. I'm going to let you know what they're trying to do. Okay. The overall project, not the micro, the macro.
Okay.
The whole objective is to gain knowledge and stress tests on the food chain supply, because what they want to do is once 5G gets connected worldwide and everything gets on this blockchain, they'll be able to track everything. Now, over on top of the 5G and all that, they're going to put a layer of AI on top of it. So now the AI system will know how much to distribute to what country, what plant. It'll run autonomously by itself.
Yeah.
Everything will get distributed based on AI, based on, okay, what's needed over here. The AI will calculate it, boom, send in the numbers, and then that's what's going to go to Kenya. This is what's going to go to America. This is what's going to go to China. This is what's going to go, and all they got to do is track everything.
All right. Now here's a question. That AI that you're referring to that will sit on top of the primary blockchain to control the logistics of everything, who wrote that? Who will write that?
I'm glad you said that. The same people who designed Bitcoin. Listen, if you track people, let's just say Ripple, XRP, the people who did Ripple. Okay, if you notice and follow these people, they'll start off with Ripple, and then you'll hear them leave, and then they went over to Binance, and then they'll leave, and then they'll go over to this company, but they all working in tandem with each other.
Right.
They'll be like, oh, this person went in and they did 6 months, and they dropped and went over here and worked for this people, and they they built XRP. Then the two people who built XRP, which was David Schwartz and the guy who did Stellar. Once they did XRP together, Jed McCaleb, he left and did XLM, but they worked together on XRP. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Now watch this. There was another name thrown out today that I haven't had a chance to go over it, but in this video here, Boyd Anderson threw out a name. I wrote it down. According to him and his sources, was what we'll see, but he threw out a name that it was a name I haven't heard before of a Canadian who was supposed to have written the code or whatever. So we'll find out, how he's interconnected, because he threw out a lot of interconnectedness of the, the Jewish community. He threw out all types of stuff, but there's another name that I didn't hear before. So I'm gonna, if you haven't, go check that out. But it's just something worth listening to.
This is why I see. This is why I say that they're just like in the rap game. There are industry plants. Now, check this out. I'm gonna give you another scenario real quick. If I got a group of 10 people and I take you to an amusement park, and this amusement park, each system that's set up, there's a problem at it. Now, you got to think, us 10 people, we all got different ways of thinking, correct?
Right.
How are you? Okay, and the initial game plan is to stop each problem. Okay, so how can you get 10 people that all think differently to distinguish each problem? You can't, because each mind is going to be pulling toward a different problem. Like, okay, this guy's over here, tires on flat. But the girl will be over here. She'll be like, wait a minute, but the trailer's over here on flat. Well, we all need to come together and attack one problem at a time. That's why we can't never figure anything out, because they'll have this setup, this problem, this problem, this problem. And then they look at us and be like, what you gonna do? We can't never do nothing because we can't come together and attack one problem. That's why they got, the financial system's going on over here. Oh, wait a minute. Well, while we got the financial system going on, let's have the food problem going on. Because then they're going to be tugging. No one's going to know where to go. So it's just going to keep escalating. They win in the end.
Right. And they said, so with all these diversions, they spread us thin, keeping our attention diverted on all types of things where we're not able to actually assemble and focus on one particular subject. And speaking of which, let me show you something I also think is important that just came out today as well, that just shows you the direction of everything outside of what we're being told. But here is an article that says that Meta, formerly Facebook, has built an AI supercomputer it says will be the world's fastest by the end of 2022. And according to them, it's designed to help mitigate, hate speech and, all the things that they tell us is what they're trying to protect us from. But yet it really is more so a sensory mechanism. But so if Meta has the world's fastest computer, so this lets me know that there'll be a race to get a hold of the biggest and baddest, fastest computer as a competition amongst all these entities. So the Google's going to have one, Meta's going to have one, China going to get there. So it just makes sense that the AI is going to be built for this purpose. So yeah, that just
let me tell y'all something. Metaverse is the most dangerous thing that y'all need to be aware of. Let me give you a clue on that. You got wild animals in life and you got domesticated animals in life. When you are walking in nature, you see wild animals. When you go to a zoo, they're domesticated animals because they're used to working with humans. So watch this. Let's go to the metaverse. You got you got a generation coming up that's going to be living in the matrix. They're pushing this matrix. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to domesticate people from the actual life. So while you're getting in tune with the metaverse, you got people who are actually out here tuned in to actual earthly things. And when they come out of the metaverse, they're not going to know how to control anything. They're going to be a wild animal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's go to China. Let's look at their rules. You cannot, in China, you can't be on the internet unless you're like 10 or older. They got a law. They got a rule. You got to be a certain age as a child before you hit the internet. They banned crypto. You see, they're not going the way of the metaverse. They're trying to go against the grain of the metaverse.
Good way. Yeah, I forgot that they did put a limitation on how long kids can be on the internet over there. So, so that just goes to show that the Western agenda is different from the Eastern agenda in the small little details of things, but all heading in the same direction though. But is it a matter of control or what? We're gonna find out. But pay me money bags, man. As always, appreciate your knowledge and your wisdom, man. Way to lay it out for us, man.
Not a problem, Mike. Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, be good.
You too.
Yeah. Oh man. So that was some interesting stuff, man. And I got more calls, but I'm not going to be able to get to them because we're at the hour point. So as always, I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. A lot of good back and forth tonight, man. A lot of things thrown out there, stuff to consider, stuff to chew on. But as always, remember everything that they are doing, the AIs, the blockchain, it's not ultimately for our benefit. It's a part of a greater plan designed to keep us trapped in the same system that we're wanting freedom from. Like, we literally want to be financially liberated from our monetary oppressors. And the best way to do that in the short term is to not give all your life towards this technology, all this digital stuff. Stay physical, stay real, stay in the real world as best you can. Like a lot of people say, get outside, enjoy nature when you can. Roll around in the snow, just feel what real life is about, because they're trying to steer us in a direction where it's going to be controlled by computer code. And mind you, if you don't write the code, you don't control how all this stuff plays out. So anyway, that being the case, we all know at the essence of everything is the spiritual warfare. So definitely stay prayed up, man. This is a year where we're going to need more divine intervention than probably any time before. But yet, once again, the Lord is there available and waiting on us to call upon him and to just seek his face in all that we do, man. And I think we'll be just fine. But anyway, let's close out a little bit of prayer like we always do. Want to lift up the Lord, man, thanking him for another chance for us to connect and hopefully be back at it tomorrow as well. So for those, get in agreement with me as just praying for wisdom and guidance in the days ahead to make the right decisions in our lives individually as well as collectively, because for those that are part of the body of Christ, we have an assignment and a job to do still, which is to help other people come to the truth and to the light. So anyway, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather this evening on a Monday night. Lord, I ask that you continue to just open the eyes of your children, Father. Allow us to see things the way that you want us to see it. Allow us to continue to just walk by faith and not by sight, Father. Allow us to repent and to acknowledge and to confess you as Lord, Father, that we may live a life pleasing to you and do things that bring you honor and glory. We ask that you to continue to watch over those that are in positions of power. Give them the righteousness and the desire to do things after your very own, Father. We just ask you in advance for all the things that you have already finished in eternity's past. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. Whew. All right. Oh, man, what a good night. I appreciate everybody for hanging out with me. As always, hit the thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. Back at it tomorrow, same time, same place. Be blessed, be safe. And once again, just continue to press forward, fight the good fight of faith, people. See you later. Visit Rethinking the Dollar throughout the day. Your place for news on metals, gold, crypto, you name it. Scroll down to the bottom and you get a chance to see the daily videos, the recommended videos, and more importantly, the 5 reasons to unplug from the monetary matrix, with the first one being the awakening period. Step number 1, test your dollar IQ. 10 simple questions, average is 60%. Follow up with the alternative perspective with the monetary reports. Consider becoming a supporter of the Rethinking the Dollar platform via Patreon. Get a chance to hang out off air as well as additional information that can't be discussed on YouTube. Any support is helpful. With the crackdown on alternative media, the best thing to do is to connect off air. Scroll down to the very bottom. You can find Rethinking the Dollar on Telegram, audio, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, you name it. The most important ones will be the email list where you can get notified weekly, the Discord page, and make sure you connect on Telegram. And last, don't forget to visit the RTD store where you can get merchandise as well as additional information and resources. And most importantly, scroll down to the bottom and get your weight up with all the limited edition rounds only available on the RTD store.